Alright, this transverse problem, and whenever you have transverse to same circle, it's simply you need to remember the formula connecting a transverse with a circle together. Let's see how it works this time around. So literally you're going to have a formula that tells you the length of the external joint point is given as L, which is equals to square root of the distance from the centers together, which is this squared minus open bracket the two radius 1 plus radius 2 all squared. That is the formula for a problem like this. However, you should know that what this L is the one given to us, which is 25 centimeter. So we simply say 25 centimeter equals square root of D is what we are looking for, that is xy. We say D squared minus what is our first radius, 3 centimeter, 3 plus the second radius is 2 centimeter, and don't forget to put the square, and we have 25 equals square root of this squared minus 5 squared. This time around, to cancel the square root, we just square both sides, and that is going to be 25 all squared equals this squared plus 25, because you know 5 squared is 25, and what is 25 squared? That should be 225, that's 625. So 625 equals this squared plus 25, and to bring 25 to this side, it means that this squared equals to 625. I'm sorry, it was minus, beg your pardon, I think I changed somewhere along the way, and it has to be plus this time around because it's coming this way. It becomes plus 25, and this squared equals to 650, and to get D we say it is square root of 650, and that is going to be 25.4 centimeter, and that is the distance xy, 25.4 centimeter. Hopefully maybe that is as a result of, okay, it is actually 25.5 centimeter approximation. It was 25.49 centimeter. So you need to approximate, it gives you the correct option to be option D. Our next question. Alright, find the volume of the prism above. So this prism is not completely a rectangular prism, neither is it a triangular prism. So you need to see it is a kind of complex prism in which a rectangle, some part of it is a rectangle and other part is is a triangle. However, it's not a problem, because if you take a look at it very closely, you see that the one portion of it is made up of a cuboid, and the other part is made up of a triangle. So to analyze this is very simple. Let's see how to solve this kind of problem. And we're going to start off by looking at it. Okay, let me quickly draw that. And you can see and yeah, so you have something like this, and it is 11 centimeter here, and it is 8 centimeter at the back, and it is 5 centimeter here and 10 centimeter here. So literally I'm going to break it into two, this part of which is a triangle to the other side, and I have a perfect rectangle. For the rectangle, let's find the volume of the rectangle. It's just going to be length times breadth times the depth, which you can also call the height, and that is length times breadth is the length is actually of the base is going to be what? It's going to be 8. It is actually 8 multiplied by the length, which is what? Which is 5. So it is 5 times 8 times the depth, which is what? 11, and that is what? 40 times 11. That is 40 times 11. That is 440 centimeters squared. Then let me get that of what? That of the triangle. That's this side. Don't forget, it's half base times height times your what? Your the same length, which is 11. And this time around, it has to be 1/2 times the base is what? Is you remove this 8 from this what? This 10. You are left with 2 times what is the height? The height is still the same 5 and the 11 here. This goes and you have what? 55 centimeters squared. And alright, sorry, it has to be cubed because it is a volume, so it has to be cubed. Now I just add this up to this one and I have what? 495 centimeter cube as the volume of the what? Of the prism, and the correct option here is option D. Right, so question 78. An arc of a circle subtends an angle of 70 degrees at the what? At the center. If the radius of the circle is 6 centimeters, calculate the area of the sector subtended by the given angle. And we know that's what? For a sector of a, for an arc of the circle that subtends an angle 70 degrees Celsius, 70 degrees, let's quickly draw a circle of such. And let's say this is our center and this angle is what? Is just our 70 degrees. So we have to look for the what? For the area of this sector, and this is the area. We know that the radius is 6 centimeters as given, and we should know that theta over 360 times pi r squared is our what? Area of sector. So that is our area of what? Of sector. And with this, we're going to say 70 by 360 times, let's use our pi as what? 3.142 times our r squared, which is 6 squared. And let's press this and see what we're going to get from there. And this is what? 21.994. So my answer here is 21.994 centimeter squared, which is approximately what? 22 centimeters squared. That is option A for that question. Our next question, question 79. A point P moves so that it is equidistant from point L and M. If LM is 16 centimeters, find the distance of P from LM when P is what? 10 centimeters from L. So let's quickly look at it. So we have that there is a point P that moves so that it is equidistant from L and M. So we have L and we have M. So this point will always move and it will always be equidistant from what? L and M. That's not a problem. We shouldn't have an issue with that. Obviously, it is going to be a kind of what? A perpendicular bisector of LM. And the point P is going to be at the midpoint of L and M. So if LM is what? Is 16 centimeters. If LM is 16 centimeters, and don't forget this is my P. Find the distance of P from LM. P from LM when P is 10 centimeters from L. Oh, maybe the question wanted to say find the distance of what? Of P from M, not from LM. It's supposed to be from what? From M. So if P is 10 centimeters from L, then the remaining distance will be what? We don't forget it is equidistant. It is equidistant from both L and M. then it is also going to be what? 10 centimeter from L. It is also going to be 10 centimeter from L. So the correct option here is what? Is B. Next question. The angle between the positive horizontal axis and a given line is 135 degrees. Find the duration of the line if it passes through the point 2, 3. And in this case, don't forget we said that what? Angle between a line is going to be what? Is going to be the slope of that angle is going to be my what? My tan of the angle. And this is going to be, it means that my slope M is what? Tan of what? 135 degrees. And if you press this, you're going to have tan 135, and that is what? Minus 1, meaning the slope of the line is what? Minus 1. And we have the point for which it passed through. We have x 2 and y as what? 3. And here don't forget the equation of a straight line. Y equals to m into x minus x1 plus y1. And we put in these values, we're going to have what? We're going to have y equals to what? Minus 1 into x minus 2 plus 3. And we simplify further, y equals to minus x plus 2 plus 3. And this is going to be y equals to minus x plus 5. So this is going to be my equation, which is, or you can say x plus y equals to 5. If you bring minus x to this side, becomes what? X plus y equals to 5. Y plus x equals to 5, or x plus y equals to 5. And the correct option is option C. Our next question. Our next question says, find the difference between the range and the variance of the following set of numbers. So we need to look for the variance and we need to find the what? The range. So let's quickly do that. And don't forget, range is the difference between the what? The biggest number in that data set and the smallest number in that data set. So the biggest number in that data set is what? Is 10. So range is going to be 10 minus the smallest number in that data set is what? Is 2. So minus 2, and this is what? 8. That is my range. However, we need to find the what? The variance. Don't forget, variance is what? Is s square, and that is going to be what? The summation of all our deviation squared minus our mean all squared divided by what? Our frequency, or the total number of data. Since this is our what? Is an ungrouped data. And this time around, let's quickly take a look at what? At what the mean is going to be. The mean is going to be, here we don't have to stress ourselves, because all the deviation from the mean has been given to us as 60. So to ease the work, we have to just pick all of this as what? As 60. And as such, we just count the number of data we have, divide 60 by that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it means what? It's going to be 10. So our standard deviation is going to be mean deviation, which is 60 divided by 10. And this is what? 6. So the question says the difference between the range and the what? And the variance. So the difference is going to be what? 8 minus 6, which is what? Simply 2. So the correct option is what? Option A. Our next question. Our next question says, if one if 1011 in base 2 plus x in base 7 equals to what? 25 in base 10, then we have to look for what? X. So we simply bring this down to base 10, this down to base 10, and we can have our x. So don't forget how we do this: 0, 1, 2, 3, and this is just nothing but 0 at the top, and we can start 1 multiplied by 2 raised to power 3 plus 0 multiplied by 2 raised to power 2 plus 1 multiplied by 2 raised to power 1 plus 1 multiplied by 2 raised to power 0 plus x multiplied by 7 raised to power 0 equals to 25. And this case is going to be 8 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 plus x equals 25. So it's going to be 8 plus 2 is 10, 11. 11 plus x equals to 25. And it means my x is going to be what? 25 minus 11. And this is what? This is simply 14. So this is what? 14. So my x is going to be what? 14. And that is the correct option, which is A. Our next question. It says evaluate one by 0.03 plus 1 by 0.024 all raised to power minus 1. This is not a problem. You don't have to worry about this. You simply do what? You simply use your calculator. 1 by 0.03 is 33.33. So I have 33.33 plus 1 by 0.024. It is what? 41.66 or 67 all raised to power minus 1. And you can add them up. 0.33, it's what? Just exactly 75 all raised to power minus 1. And this is just what? 1 over 75. And you press 1 divided by 75, the answer is 0.013. So the correct option there is option B. Our next question. Next question says, find the volume of a cone whose slant height is 5 cm and radius is what? 3 cm. So let's quickly look at that. That's under mensuration. And we have a cone. Don't forget, cone is just like this. And with the center radius, we're given that the radius is what? 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter. And the slant height is what? 5 centimeter. So we need to get this vertical height called h. So our h, we're going to use Pythagoras theorem. H equals to 5 squared minus what? Minus 3 squared all under square root. And this is going to be square root of 25 minus 9. And this is going to be what? This is going to be square root of 16, which is obviously what? 4 centimeter. So it is what? A 4 centimeter height cone. And with this, we bring out the formula for volume of a cone. Volume is what? 1 over 3 pi r squared times your vertical height. And with this, we can say 1 over 3. Let's take pi as 3.142 multiplied by r, which is 3 squared times another 3 times our height, which is what? 4. Let's do this and see what the answer is going to be. And the answer here is what? Just 37.7 centimeter cube. And that is what? Option A. Our next question. When the expression pm squared plus qm plus 1 is divided by m minus 1, it has a remainder 2. And when divided by m plus 1, the remainder becomes 4. We have to find the value of what? Q, P, and Q respectively. Let's see how that one goes again. So we have this expression P m squared pm squared plus qm plus 1. And when it is divided by m minus 1, what does it mean? We assume in the first place that if 1 equals to a factor, if m equals to 1 is a factor, then the remainder is going to be 2. Meaning, if m equals to 1 is a factor, is not rather a factor, then what happens? If I put p times 1 squared plus q times 1 plus 1, the remainder is not going to be 0, but this time around it's going to be what? It's going to be 2 according to the question. And with this, I can have p plus q equals to 2 minus 1, or p plus q equals to what? Equals to 1. Let's call this my equation 1. However, the same function was divided by what? By m plus 1. This time around, it means that what? M minus 1 is never a factor. And let's do justice to that again. It means that what? P into minus 1 squared plus q into minus 1 plus what? Plus 1 gives out a remainder of what? Remainder of 4. So you say equals to 4. And that means that what? P minus q equals to 4 minus 1. And this time around, p minus q equals to 3. This is my equation 2. So I'm going to solve equation 1 and 2 simultaneously. So I just bring equation 1 down. I repeat that. P plus q equals to 1, which is my equation 1. What do? I just add them up. And when I do this, p plus p becomes what? 2p minus q and plus q, they do what? They cancel up, and we're going to have 4, and it means that what? My p equals to 4 by 2, which is 2. However, to get q, what does it mean? We can use any of the equation. So let me use my equation 1 to get my q. From this equation 1, it means that what? Q equals to what? 1 minus p. And that's going to be 1 minus what? 2, which is what? Minus 1. So my result is going to be 2 comma minus 1, which is what? A. Alright, next question. Factorize r squared minus r into bracket 2p plus q plus 2pq. So here we're going to have r squared minus r into bracket 2p plus q plus 2pq. So the first thing is to what? First open the brackets here. So I'm going to have r squared minus 2pr minus qr plus 2pq. And with this, I can look at something very, very important. And I can see I'm going to have r and p as a factor. So I group them, the first two and the last two. Group them, the first two and the last two. And what is common here? It is what? R is common here. And I can rewrite that as what? R into bracket r minus 2p. What is common here? QR is what? Is common. So I am going to have minus QR into, it is Q that is common, minus Q into open bracket, it becomes R left here, minus what? 2P. Don't forget this minus, when it multiplies this minus, it gives you positive value. So these two brackets are equal. Then I can have R minus Q and r minus 2p, which is the factor. So the correct option is what? R minus q, r minus 2p. R minus q, r minus 2p. That is option C. which is the correct option. Our next question. A trader sold an article for few dollars at a profit of 10%. How much could he have sold it to make a profit of 12%? And it is commercial arithmetic problem. So somebody got an article and sold it at the rate of what? Of Q dollars, while making a what? A profit of 10%. What does it mean? It means that 100% of cost price, same thing as the what? The price you sold it. That is my what? Q. In other words, you can say 1.1, because everything here is in percent. So I'll write percent. 1.1 x is given as what? As Q. It means the cost price, original cost price, which is x, is Q over 1.1. That's the first thing we need to know. However, if he needed to make a profit of 12%, how does it go? It means that what? In this case, he wouldn't sell it for this price, which was originally the cost price. He has to sell it for what? 1.12. Why is it 1.12? Because he has to sell it for the price for which he bought it and made extra 12% gain. So this is going to be the new cost, the new selling price. Price has to be what? Must be equals to Q all by 1.1 multiplied by what? 1.2. And this time around is going to be 1.2 divided by 1.1, which is what? 1.09 what? Of Q. And that is going to be the new selling price, which is what? Option A. So 87 is solution to 87 is what? A. Our next question. 88. A man is paid R9 per hour for normal work and double rate for overtime. If he does 35-hour week, which includes skill hours of overtime, what is his weekly earnings in Naira? So let's quickly do justice to this again. Alright, so we need to have somebody is paid R9 per hour. However, he had 39 hours of the week. So to 2 hours is what? To 2 hours is what? 35 hours. But don't forget that out of these 35 hours, he had an overtime of Q hours. So the time he did normal time per day was just what? Was just going to be 35 normal rates without overtime. That's what I mean by normal rate is what? 35 minus his overtime, which is Q hours. And to pay him for this amount, it means that what? He would have gotten, don't forget, he's getting paid of R per hour. So he's going to get what? 35 minus Q multiplied by R. And that is what is paid in a week. So 35 minus Q multiplied by R. 35 minus Q multiplied by R. However, because he did overtime, we need to calculate that also. Because his overtime is going to be what? Double the rate. That is what? 2R multiplied by his overtime hour. That is Q. And this is what? 2RQ. Or you say 2QR. This we now have to fix into this equation. His normal amount and this overtime payments is going to be what? 2RQ. And the total payment is going to be normal rate plus overtime, which is what? 35 minus QR plus 2RQ. And you can open this bracket and factorize again. How does it work? It means about 35R minus QR plus 2RQ. And how do we go about it? Something is common. If we bring out what? Our R. Something is common. We can bring R and we're going to see R here is going to give you what? 35 minus Q plus 2q, and it is still the same thing as r. 35 minus q plus 2q is what? Just plus q. So my answer is going to be what? The total pay is what? R into bracket 35 plus q. That is what? That is the first option. Option A is correct for that. Alright, so our next question is question 89, and we have a table given to us, and the question says we should find the identity element with respect to the multiplication table shown above. What is an identity element? An identity element is an element whose outcome does not depend on the previous operation performed. And if you look at this table, on P we have different outcomes, on Q we have different outcomes, on R all the outcomes are what? R. On S we have different outcomes. It means that no matter the situation, the outcome on R is never going to change, and that is why all the results are the same. So any of the column that has the same outcome, it means what? It is the identity element. And obviously our option is going to be what? Option C for the identity element. Our next question. So let's go to question 90. The determinant of the matrix in terms of x is, so we're given a matrix, let's write that out. Alright, so question 90, we have to find the determinant of the matrix x1 0 1 minus x 2 3 1 1 plus x and 4. So in terms of x, so let's go, we write it out. X 1 0 1 minus x 2 3 1 1 plus x and 4. So we assign it a sign factor. So this leading row is plus, minus, and plus. So when we bring the first element, which is x, with its leading row, that is x, so we cancel everything that has to do with that row, and we cancel everything that has to do with the column of x. So we are cancelling the row 1 and column 1, because the element we are picking, the leading element is from that row 1 column 1. So we cancel that, and what are we left with? We are left with 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 1 plus x and 4, 1 plus x and 4. So we go with this minus 1. It was 1 originally, so because of the sign factor we multiply it by 1, and we have 1 times minus, so it's still minus 1. Then we strike out anything that has to do with that row, and the column that has to do with 1. Don't forget element 1 is in row 1 column 2. So we strike all of row 1, but this time around all of column 2. So we are left with 1 minus x, 3, 1 and 4. So what are we going to do? We now find the determinant of this 2 by 2 matrix and the other one. So we have x. How do we find the determinant of the 2 by 2 matrix? We multiply this row, this element by this element. So we have 4 times 4, 2. Then minus, multiply this and this. So it has to be 3, 1 plus x. Then minus this one, we do the same thing. So here it's going to be 4, 1 minus x, minus 1 times 3. So here we just go ahead into simplifying, and we have x 8 minus 3 plus, minus 3x. Then here we say minus 1, 4 minus 4x minus 3. And let's simplify this bracket and this bracket. So we write x, 8 minus 3 is 5. So 5 minus 3x minus 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 minus 4x. So what do we do now? We multiply out. So we're going to say 5 times x is 5x minus 3x squared minus 1 plus 4x. Because this minus 1 will multiply this minus to give us this plus. But we can see that 5x and 4x can actually add up. So we're going to be left with 9x minus 3x squared minus 1. And we can see the option here is option B, which is 3 minus 3x squared. That's what we have here. Plus 9x minus 1. So the correct option there is B. Next question. Alright, a committee of 6 is to be formed by a state governor from 9 states commissioners and 3 members of the state House of Assembly. In how many ways can the members of the committee be chosen so as to include 1 member of the House of Assembly? This is a problem on combination. So when we have a case of you want to combine, you want to form committee, it's always on combination. So let's do justice to that. To choose from both conditions. So the first condition is we have to choose 6 people. Mind us, we only have to choose 6 people. And we have at least, there is a very stricter condition as to include 1 member of the House of Assembly. So we are only choosing 1 from the House. So how many House of Assembly members can we choose from? Out of 3 of them. So 3 House of Assembly members are available. We have to choose 1. So you say 3 combination 1 multiplied, because it is just like probability when you say and. Then we have taken 1 out of 3. We need 5 more out of what? Out of the 9 state commissioners. So we are going to say 9 commissioners combination the remaining 5. If you add this up, you have 1 plus 5, which is 6 members you want to choose from. So let's go ahead and do this. Don't forget combination. So it's going to be 3 factorial all over 3 minus 1 factorial and 1 factorial. Multiplied by 9 factorial over 9 minus 5 factorial 5 factorial. I'm very sure you've not forgotten. We've given out the formula for combination. But in case you must have forgotten, let's quickly give that out again. N combination R is same thing as N factorial N minus R factorial R factorial. This is simply the formula for what? Combination. So we are making use of this here. So what are we doing here? 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1 all over 3 minus 1 is 2, and 2 factorial is 2 times 1 multiplied by what? 1, because 1 factorial is 1. Then this multiplication, 9 factorial is 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 all over 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 factorial is what? 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times, what is 5 factorial? It is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And at a glance, you can see all of these 5 factorial cancel all of these 5 off. And these 2 cancel these 2. And we can still do some division. 4 here, it is 2. And the 2 we cancel the remaining 2. 3 here, it is 1 times this. 3 here, 1, 3 here, 2. And I think all is done there. So here we only have 3 multiplied by, here we have 9 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 2. And if you do this very well, your answer will be what? Will be 378 ways. So we have 378 ways to doing this. And the correct option is option D. Next question. Alright, question 92. Some white balls were put in a basket containing 12 red balls and 16 black balls. If the probability of picking a white ball from the basket is 3/7, how many white balls were introduced? And a problem on probability again. And we have to just do justice to that. So we have some white balls that were put in basketball. So let's call the number of white balls number of white balls that was introduced be X. Let it be X. And it was already having 12 red balls. So number of red balls is equal to 12. And 16 black balls. So number of black balls is equal to 16. So if the probability of picking a white ball from the basket is 3/7, so probability of white, W for white, is equal to 3/7. Then how many white balls were introduced? So don't forget probability. Probability, the formula of an outcome, is given as what? Number of desired outcome all over total number of possible outcome. So that's the formula for probability. So our probability of white is 3/7 will be equal to number of white ball, which is X, over total number of the balls available, which is what? 12 plus 16 plus the X itself. That is just it. So let's simplify this and get our answer. 3/7 equals X. This 28 plus X. So we have to go and cross multiply. And what do we have? We have 3 into bracket 28 plus X equals 7X. So we have to multiply this out, and this is simply 4, and it is 84 plus 3X equals 7X. So we have 84 equals 7X minus 3X. 84 equals 4X. We divide both sides by 4. We have our X, which is what? Which is 21. So X equals what? 21. So we have C is our correct option for that. So we have 21 white balls that were introduced. Our next question. Right, given just some. So given that E equals to X such that 1 less than X less or equals to 10, where X is an even integer, and F is equals to X such that 2 is less than X, and it is what? It is less or equals to 7. X is an integer, a subset of the universal sets. U is natural numbers up to 10. Find E prime intersection F. So this sets problem, and let's do justice to that. So it's a set problem, and so we're given that A is X such that 1 is less than X. So if we have to write all the elements of A, we say is equals to, what do we have? 1 is less than X, so we cannot start from 1. So since 1 is less than X, we start from 2. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we look at the last statement, it says or equals to 10. So we are going to include what? 10. If it had said less than 10, we would have stopped at 9. Since it is less or equals to 10, we put 10. So the next one is what? X is an even integer. So it's a precondition again under this condition. So this is supposed to be our E, but it is giving us another condition that don't forget that your x can only be an even integer. So we have to strike off all the non-even integers, or you call them the odd integers. So the final answer for E is going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is just the real E that we're going to make use, because it has given us that x is an even integer. So we go for F. F is 2 is less than x, and don't forget that we cannot include 2 since 2 is less than x. So we start from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We will do this 7 because it is less or equals to 7. If it's just less than 7, we will stop at 6. So, and the question now say if they are all subsets of universal set of all natural numbers up to 10. So our universal set is 1 to 10. So find E prime intersection F. Don't forget our universal set is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we are looking for E prime. What is my E prime? That is the complement of E. The elements of E, elements of E, we remove all of them from the universal set, we write the outcome. Or simply put in another way, complements of E means that what are the elements in the universal set that are never present in what? In subset E. And if you take a look at that, 1 is never present, 3 is never present, 5 is never present, 7 is never present, and 9. These are the elements that were present in E, but were never present in the universal set. That is our E prime, or you call it E complement. The next, we have to intersect this E prime with F. What is intersection? What is common to both? What is common to both? So we ask ourselves, what is common to this my E prime and F? And it means that E prime intersection F will give me what? You can see there is 3 here, there is 3 here. We cannot include 1 because there is no 1 here. So we cannot include 1. So there is 3, there is 4 here, there is no 4 here. So we cannot include that. There is 5, there is 5. So I include 5. There is 7, there is 7. We also include that. And that is all. So it's going to be 3, 5, 7, which is option D. Next question. Alright, simplify. Simplify. So we have to simplify 2 root 6 minus root 3 all squared. That is our solved problem. And in solve, rules of solve. We quickly take you through the rules of solve. And don't forget, simply put, rule of solve, you can have root A times root B is simply what? Root AB. So then root A divided by root B is simply root A divided by B. And one of the most important things here for us is that what? A root B multiplied by B root C will give us what? AB root BC. As simple as this. So let's go ahead. Square means we repeat it again, and I will rewrite minus root 3 2 root 6 minus root 3. And let's see. So we open the bracket. So 2 times 2 here will be 4. But root 6 times root 6 is simply what? 6. Root 6 times root 6 is 6. Then we use this to multiply this again. So that will be 2 minus 2. Root 6 times root 3 is what? Root 18. Then minus what? This one we use to multiply, that is minus 2 root 18. And finally minus root 3 times minus root 3 is what? Plus 3. And what is this? 24 minus, this is minus 2 minus 2, so it becomes minus 4 root 18. Then what of this? Plus 3. 24 plus 3 is what? 27 minus 4. I want to break root 18. Why? Because there is a perfect square inside 18. 2 times 9 is 18. So whenever you have a perfect square as a multiple of a number inside the square root, you break it. So I'm going to do a breakaway. 2 times 9. Because of this 9, that's why I'm doing it. Because I know root 9 will obviously be what? Be 3. So I write that 27 minus 4. This root 3 will come out, and that will be 3 root 2. And what is it? 27, 4 times 3 is 12, minus 12 root 2. So my final answer is what? 27 minus 12 root 2. And the correct option is option C. Our next question. Alright, question 95. I read the following in ascending order of magnitude. Minus 5 over 9, minus 1 over 4, minus 5 over 6, minus 2 over 3. There are 2 ways to doing this. So I'm going to go through the 2 methods and you choose the faster one. But I believe the faster one is the one you do with the use of calculator. How do we go? You just simply convert all this fraction with your calculator into a decimal number, just with your calculator. And we quickly bring out a calculator, and we have to see each of these, what they represent in what? In decimal number. So that's the first approach, and we still look at the second approach now. So I will quickly write this out. You have minus 5 over 9 equals to minus 1 over 4 equals to minus 5 over 6 equals to minus 2 over 3 equals to. So you quickly bring out your calculator and perform this. 5 over 9 is minus 0.555 and so on. Let's just say 556 approximation. Then minus 1 over 4 will be minus 0.25. This one will be 5 over 6. That is what? Minus 0.833. And this one, minus 2 over 3, it is minus 0.667. However, don't be carried away, because this is a negative number. What do we learn from negative numbers? In negative numbers, the lower negative number is higher than the higher negative number. So the question says in ascending order. So we start from the biggest negative number, because it is actually lower in value to a smaller negative number. So in ascending order, what does it mean? I would have seen this and let's say, oh, this is the smallest of them all. So minus 0.833 followed by minus 0.667 followed by minus 0.556 and lastly minus 0.25. And when you bring out their fractions, it means what? Minus 5 over 6 comma, what do we have? Minus 2 over 3 followed by minus 5 over 9 and the maximum of them is minus 1 over 4, which, if you check, your correct option will be what? I think that will be option C. That is the first way. But let's go the second way. The second way involves you to take out all the denominators and find the what? The LCM. Let's quickly do that, and let's see how it works. We ask ourselves, what will be the LCM of 9, 4, 6, and 3? 9, 4, 6, and 3. I believe that's going to be 54. That is going to be 54. Yeah, that's 54. So I bring individually, I bring them out, minus 5 over 9. I keep multiplying by 54. Next one, minus 1 over 4, multiplied by the LCM 54. The next one, 5 minus 5 over 6, multiplied by the LCM 54. The last one is minus 2 over 3, multiplied by 54. Here you have this as 6. 6 times minus 5 is minus 30. Here it is what? It is okay. It's just 13.5 multiplied by 1 is minus 13.5. And this one, 56, 54 divided by 6. And this is what? Minus 9 times 5, that's minus 45. And here you have 54, 3 divided by 2. And this is what? Minus 36. And you can see at a glance, they are negative numbers. So the one with the maximum magnitude is this one, which is going to be the lowest. And if you have to arrange, you bring minus 45, that is this one, minus 5 over 6, followed by minus 36, that's minus 2 over 3, followed by minus 30, that is what? Minus 5 over 9, and leads by what? Minus 13.5, which is what? Minus 1 over 4. Either way, it still gives you what? C as the correct option. So we go to the next question, and that's question 96. So in question 96 is a variation problem, and don't forget we've done something similar to this, but let's do justice to this again. The variables P, Q, and R are such that P varies directly as R, P varies directly as R, and inversely as the square of Q, and inversely as the square of Q. So I put Q down, then squared. Then what do I have? I introduce my equality sign. P equals to KR over Q squared. And we look for our K. K is the constant of proportionality. That will be what? PQ squared, or divided by what? R. And here, let me find my K. So K will be equals to, what is my P? If P is 2, P is 2 when Q is 6 times 6 squared, all by, and R is what? And R is 4 with 4. So what is this? We have 2 times this 36, all divided by 4, and this is simply what? 18. So our constant of proportionality is what? Is 18. So D is the correct option there. We go to the next question. Alright, question 97. The area of an island represented on the map of scale 1 to 100,000. So this is a scale enlargement or reducing of scale, and it's pretty much a simple problem. So we have that on the map of scale 1 to 100,000 is 32 centimeters square, meaning everyone you see on the paper is equivalent to what? 100,000 on the land. That's the meaning of this. Every 1 centimeter you see on the paper represent 100,000 centimeter on the land. So 1 to 100,000, and what do we have as the area? The area becomes what? 32 centimeter squared. What will be its area on the scale, on the map scale of 1 to 50,000? We have another scale or another map. This time around, it is every one you see on the ground represents 50,000 on the what? On the land. Don't forget, both of them have to tell you the same thing. So the first map says everyone you see on this paper represents 100,000 on the land. The second one says everyone you see on the paper represents what? 50,000 on the land. What can you say between the two maps? It means the second map is a form of enlarged version of the what? Of the first one. I repeat, the second map is a form of enlarged version of the what? Of the first one. And in that case, it means that your 32 centimeter square on the first map will represent what? Will represent just 16 centimeter square on the second map. You literally see that it is being reduced by 2 on the first map, so it is just what? 16 centimeter square on the second map. However, we should not do this verbally. Let's go mathematical. So the second map is what? 1 to 50,000. It will represent, let's say, x, and this is simply going to be what? Our scale ratio. You call it what? Your map ratio, and this is going to be 100,000 all over 50,000 equals to 32 all over x. As simple as this. And we cross multiply. We have 32 times 50,000 equals to, or we just simply, we don't need to do that. We know this is just 1 over 2. This is just 1 over 2, or rather 2. 50,000, 100,000, 50,000 goes in 100,000 2 times, so it is just 32 all over x. So we cross multiply. This is 2x equals what? 32, and divide both sides by 2. We have what? 32 divided by what? 2, which is still the same thing as what? The 16 we fall right up the first place. So the answer is what? 16 centimeter square, which is option B. Our next question. Alright, express as a single fraction. We have to express as a single fraction. So while I'm waiting for us to clean the board, do well to subscribe, follow us on all our social media handles, and try to share, like and share so your friends can also be a beneficiary of this. So let's go. Question 98 says express as a single fraction 4 over 1 minus x minus 5 all over 1 plus x. And when we want to express anything as a single fraction, first thing we do is what? We find the LCM. So the LCM of 1 minus x and 1 plus x is simply multiplying both together. 1 minus x, 1 plus x. This is the what? LCM. You ask yourself, 1 minus x goes here. What is remaining? It's going to be 1 plus x. Multiply by this 4, right? Yes. 1 plus x. Then 1 plus x goes there. What are we left with? 1 minus x. Multiply by this minus 5 into 1 minus x. That is the first stage. Secondly, what do? We look at this denominator. This is simply what? Difference of 2 squares. So you don't actually need to expand. This is difference of 2 square, and you still remember difference of 2 square is when you have the same thing in both what? Brackets, but the only difference is the sign. The sign in one bracket is minus, the sign in the other bracket is what? Plus. So in that case, we simply bring the first one squared, then the second one minus. The minus will dominate over plus, so it will be minus the second one squared, which is x squared. Then what are we left with here? We open the bracket. 4 plus 4x minus 5 plus 5x. Don't forget minus we multiply minus to give you plus. And what is this going to be? This is simply going to be 4 minus 5 is minus, so this is going to be 9x minus 1 all over 1 minus x squared. Don't forget that 1 squared is actually 1. So the final result is 9x minus 1 all over 1 minus x squared. So 9x minus 1 all over 1 minus x squared. That is option C. So question 99. The second and fourth terms of an arithmetic progression AP are 9 and 17 respectively. Find the common difference. So don't forget our formula is what? Cn a plus n minus 1 d for an AP. So the question says the second term, so n becomes t2 equals a plus 2 minus 1 times common difference, we don't have it, d, and this is simply given to us as what? 9. So we write again a plus d equals to 9. This is simply equation 1, and we go for the second one. Second, since and the fourth term, so t4 equals to a plus 4 minus 1 times d, which means that what? It is what? 17, and a plus 4 minus 1 is 3, d equals to 17, equation 2. And what do? We solve this equation 1 and 2 simultaneously. Since we are looking for common difference and not both the first term and the common difference, so we don't need to stress ourselves. We simply use substitution method. What do? We make a desired formula in equation 1. So from equation 1, what do we have? We have a equals to 9 minus d. So we put this in equation 3. Let's call it equation 3. And we put in equation 1 into equation 2. What do we have? Instead of writing a, we write what? 9 minus d. So 9 minus d plus 3d equals to 17. What do we have? 2d equals 17 minus 9. And 2d equals to what? 17 minus 9 is absolutely what? 8. And it means what? d equals to what? 8 over 2, which is what? 4. So your common difference is what? Option B, which is what? 4. Our next question. Alright, this question 100. And let's do justice to it again. So we have 3 men shared $480,000 in the ratio x plus 1, x plus 2. If the least share was $120,000, find the value of x. So we have 3 men that share this $480,000 in the ratio given to us, and the least share was $120,000. So I ask the question, whose share is this least? Obviously, it is that of what? X. So we mean x got the least share all over the total ratio, which is x plus 1 plus x plus 2, and this multiplied by x plus 2 multiplied by the total amount to be shared, 480,000, is giving me what? Is giving me 120,000. So it is equals to $120,000. So there is dollar here, so I don't need to write it because obviously they are going to cancel. So we go. What do we have? 480,000 x all over, what do we have? X plus x is 3x plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals to what? Equals to 120,000. We cross multiply. So we have 120,000 into bracket 3. Okay, just say times 3x plus 1 plus 3. Then equals to 480,000 x. So what do? We multiply this out, and this is going to be what? 360,000 x plus 360,000 equals 480,000 of x. So what do? We simply collect like terms. So this 360,000 x will go this, and we are left with 360,000 equals 480,000 x minus 360,000 x. And if you do this, what are we going to be left with? We say 360,000 equals, if you subtract 360,000 from 480,000, you have what? 120,000 x. And to get x, we simply divide both sides by what? 120,000. 120,000. So we are left with what? X equals to 3. So the correct option there is option B for question 100.